Hello, people. It's the West Man back again with another All for United video. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We've gone past 1K, but we need to go again. We need to keep going. So make sure you continue to support the channel. We're back on the topic. Basically, we're just going to be reliving some positive memories. You know, the Premier League's about to start in 2 days. Let's have a bit of positivity. I know it's all doom and gloom, but hopefully we've got a bit of positivity surrounding the club. As always, I'm joined by the lads, Joe, Barry, and Kojo. Boys, how we doing?
Phenomenal.
All good, man.
Excellent.
All good.
Oh God, as always, an absolute pleasure to have you on. I have to say that, you know, to build that rapport. I don't mean it at all, but you know,
Osman is no wanker.
Oh God, how do I say that? Anyways, if you are joining us, make sure you get your comments in the comment section. Let us know what your most memorable opening game of the season is. Like I've already mentioned, drop a like, subscribe. If you're off Twitter, same as always, come to YouTube. Anyways, we have decided to allow the man, the myth, the legend, Barry, to go first this week. Obviously, we've got to keep him happy. So, Barry, please talk to us. Obviously, you've got to put your case forward to why yours is more iconic than the other boys. Obviously, it is a memory as well. Talk about it from a memory perspective, but why is it more iconic than the other boys' game? So, Barry, which game have you gone for, mate?
Right. So, firstly, thank you for putting age before beauty. I appreciate that.
Well, if that was the case, no, I'm not going to say it.
When going for my most memorable opening game, I've got to put a personal slant to it because I live so far away. And
yeah, of course.
I have, as you know, I've followed United since the 60s, but I've only been physically present twice at United's opening games of the season. And the first one of those is one that I choose to forget because it was Louis van Gaal's first game in charge for United, and we lost to Swansea. It was flipping awful. But the one that is indelibly printed in my mind is last season's opener against Chelsea.
Yeah. Come on, Barry!
For a number of reasons. Firstly, I traveled with my son, and it's fantastic to make a family affair out of supporting United. He's an avid United supporter, and the game was played on his birthday. So it was a great birthday occasion for him and special family time. Of course, we were buzzing, or as you guys say, we were buzzing at the thought of...
Can somebody please clip that and send that to me, please?
It's kind of a new era. Ollie, the manager, although he had taken over the previous season. And we were excited. We'd brought in Dan James, of course, to play, and he played a major role on the day. And, of course, we swept Chelsea aside. And it was just a great day for me because we went to hotel football, we went to the Bishop Blaze, we did all the really cool things. And I met up with a lot of my mates from Manchester and the environs, all fellow Reds, and it's a big family, and it was a great day. And, of course, United were on song. We thrashed them 4-0. We won't mention the fact that in the first 10 minutes, Chelsea hit the woodwork and they looked the better side. But it was just a great day. And it's always wonderful to be at Old Trafford. I think those that live in Manchester, that have the privilege of going to every game, might get a little bit blasé. For those of us that have to travel thousands of miles, it's always a brilliant occasion. And it's always, you know, to have a great game is a bonus. I can tell you, to be there, no matter what the result, is thrilling. But it was just a great day. The atmosphere was fantastic.
Yeah, it was amazing.
We'd signed Harry Maguire. We'd signed Wan-Bissaka. So we had a new defence. We waited with bated breath for Maguire's first touch. I can still remember it. Just a simple pass. The crowd was singing the Maguire song the whole time. And there was a great atmosphere.
Our time to change.
4-0 thrashing of Chelsea. And of course, after the game, we thought we were on for the treble. We were sure shots to win the treble that season. Well, we were in for a bit of a shock, but nevertheless, it was just a brilliant opener to the season. And it put hope in our hearts. And it was, you know, Old Trafford, 76,000 people yelling their heads off, singing. Brilliant day, brilliant occasion, great start to the season.
I know what, Barry. I've got to be honest. I do massively agree with you, because I think, for me personally, I didn't actually get to go to the game. I've just remembered I was actually at home, but I watched the game. And normally, what I do, we've got like a family tradition. We normally watch the game. If we can't get to it, with like 15, 20 people, and we did a watch along as well. So that absolute scenes, as you can imagine, for that game, especially when Dan James scored for me. I think that's why it makes. For me personally, I think that's why it's so memorable, because you know what it meant to him on an individual level. You really felt that in the team, and I think that was the first time like you could see the camaraderie in the team. Like you can genuinely see that they're all in it for each other, and I think that was the most beautiful thing about that moment. Obviously, McTominay and James are quite clearly very close. You know, you've seen interviews of them together, like a brotherly relationship. But I just love the fact that every single player went to Dan James. Obviously, because he scored, but they knew exactly what it meant to him. And I think for a player who's just got to the club and the players already understand what it means to him, I think that's beautiful. That's a very telling thing for the sort of situation in the dressing room. And obviously, long may that continue this season.
It was a magical moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For me personally, probably my moment of the season. Actually, I just thought it was fantastic. But got a comment here already, and I think this could potentially be the winner. Actually, it'd be interesting. I don't think anyone else is going to have it, so I'll put it on the screen here. Eat, sleep, United, repeat. I've forgotten your name. I do apologize. Obviously, I know that's not your name. He's gone for me. I mentioned it on my last show last night. 98-99. V's Leicester finished 2-2. Yeah. I was there. Obviously, Beckham equalised in the 90th minute. It was obviously that was the iconic season, and I think this is why that is an iconic moment. Started with a last-minute goal and finished the season with a last-minute goal. That is, mate. That's a shout. I'm not having
that is a shout.
That's a shout. To be fair, Barry's smiling because obviously Barry's thinking, "Damn, we should have thought of that." All right, okay. Coach, have you got yours, or should we go to Joe?
I'm ready, but if Joe's ready as well, let Joe go first.
No, you go ahead, Coach.
Okay. Thank you. I love Joe, man.
Yeah, you're my bro.
Come on, bro.
Get away with the bloody Jalen signs, please.
Oh God. I've just realised Joe's on the thingy, so I'm not going to do that. Anyways, Kojo, let's talk. No one knows what that means, but we know what that means. Right, Kojo, what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, so my one is when we beat Fulham 5-1 in 2006. So anyone remember this one? This was off the back of the Rooney and Ronaldo.
I think Joe remembers because that was his.
Of course we remember it. What do you think?
That's when Rooney and Ronaldo had that thing at the World Cup where everyone pretty much said Ronaldo made sure Rooney got sent off the wink. So when, the lead up to the game, it was, well, would Rooney and Ronaldo coexist in the same team and all that? And they, in the first 19 minutes, we went 4-0 up, and those two were just killing everybody on the pitch. It was beautiful to watch. And I think that's that. And after watching that match, I realized, this team is ready. I know it's Fulham, but Fulham were a good side then as well. Saha scoring against his former club, and just that. I think it pretty much signalized that Ronaldo and Rooney were really ready to now take control of the Premier League and rip it to shreds, and that's what they did for the next 3 years together. It was an incredible game, incredible performance. Fulham had no idea what to do, and you could see the coming of age of some other players as well. Carrick had come into the team as well. Phenomenal signing, phenomenal game.
Yeah,
our old experienced guys like the Ryan Giggs and all that still did their thing as well. So overall, it's just it was a wonderful performance. It was a memorable game for me just because I remember also being kind of nervous about what's Rooney and Ronaldo what's gonna happen. I had this image of Lee Bowyer and Kieran Dyer having beef on the pitch.
Yeah.
And if Ronaldo says the wrong thing to Rooney, Rooney's gonna be like, you know what, fuck this guy, I'm killing him right now. So I was thinking, that could be a bit of a thing. That was obviously the silly side of me wanting that kind of beef to happen on the pitch. Could be funny. But that's my game. That game was memorable, and obviously after that, we won 3 Premier League titles in a row, Champions League.
Yes.
So made history. And may I just say, just add a little bit of a sweetener. only one club in the history has won the Premier League 3 times in a row, and they've done it twice. I wonder who that is.
Yes, love that. It's a shame we can't say that anymore. But listen, regarding that, honestly, God, for some reason you have iconic moments in football that you just remember. Like, I'll be honest, my football memory is not amazing, but there's few moments that you'll never forget. And I feel like when Ronaldo got Rooney sent off in the Euros, and then he came back to Man United, the press were like, what's going to happen with these two? Ronaldo's going to get sold. One of them's getting sold. The sort of the backlash, everything. Even as a fan, I remember reading the sort of build up to the season. I was thinking, what the hell? Like, I love both of these players, and it's an absolute mess. And then I feel like they had that sort of conversation, and I kind of came out after the games that they had a conversation. Obviously, Fergie being the man manager he is, of course, he must have got to have that conversation, clear the air, so to speak. And at the end of the day, for me personally, and I think Rooney said this as well in his interview since then, you got to do what you got to do to win for your country. At the end of the day, that's the only thing. Ronaldo, was it slow what he did? Of course it was, but at the end of the day, you've got to do what you got to do. I think Rooney understood that because he's a winner as well. So, but yeah, coming back to the game as well, mate. Them two were on smoke. It was like they had something to prove. They were absolutely ruined for them. Oh God, it was just beautiful, man. Those were the days that we used to play scintillating football. It was just completely untouchable. But Joe, you want to go third? Do you regret that decision now?
No, because you lads have just picked the most obvious choices ever.
Wow.
To be honest, those two never came into my mind. I only got a bit kind of shocked because I thought you guys would be a bit more creative, if I'm being honest. Look, we beat Chelsea 4-0, but what did we do at the end of that season? We did nothing. That game against Fulham, that was a nice performance, but it didn't really start a revolution, I don't think, compared to 1995 against Aston Villa, when we actually lost a game, including kids, by Alan Hansen, and we lost 3-1. Now, why would that be a memorable game? Well, that memorable game is because several of United's greatest ever players made their debuts or were close to making their debuts after only playing a few games beforehand. And that team full of kids went on to conquer everything, including a European Cup, including FA Cups, including Premier Leagues. So, and it all began with that game where Alan Hansen said you won't win anything with kids. And he was motherfucking wrong.
Yes, he was.
If you ask around, when of memorable Premier League opening games, they won't say that game. They won't say the 4-0 over Chelsea. If you ask any journalist or anyone that actually changed football, it's that loss against Villa, because no one thought we were going to do anything, and we conquered everything again. So for me, has to be 3-1 against Villa.
Wow. So and also just to add, Neil agrees with you.
Well, look, come on,
Oh my God! Shout out to Neil. We love you, bro. We love you.
Love you.
You've put a spin on the question, and I've got to say, the creativity. And Joe's just fapping up. Leave it how it is, Joe. But on a serious level, though, I like your thought process on that. I've got to be honest. I think that's an interesting way. You've gone for the route of we lost. It was a catalyst, and I like that because, of course, what happened after that game?
Yeah.
Obviously those comments spurred on. Obviously the players in the dressing room. Sir Alex Ferguson would have played that to the players. It's always guaranteed. If I was the manager, or if any of us were the managers, I'm sure obviously Fergie must have done it anyways. Sat him down and said, "Look what this prick just said about you guys. He's already writing you off after one game. And what more motivation do you need as a player, a young player as well, who's already hungry to fucking prove that prick wrong?"
Yes.
And he's a scouser. Prove him more wrong.
I was going to say that. He's a fucking scouser too. We got we won the league, we won the FA Cup, and we proved the scouser wrong. Come on.
That's right.
What's better?
Cody, you're helping his case, by the way. Just for
there is, yeah.
I'd just like to put out to you. Notice the shirt that I'm wearing tonight.
Yes.
This is the shirt that United wore in that game against Aston Villa.
Yeah,
so
that's what Neil said as well.
being the knowledgeable guys that you are, you would have known that I'd put the shirt on because I couldn't talk about 2 games. So it was taken for granted. And of course, Joe stole that game away.
Joe was last.
I was last.
And I want the listeners to know that before the program, Joe begged me, don't talk about that game because I want to talk about that game. So I'm expecting my payment tomorrow, please.
How do you want to get paid, Barry? How do you want to get paid?
Okay. And I want our currency in South Africa is so weak. I want pounds sterling, please.
Oh my God! Oh my God! He's not holding back here, Joe. To be fair to him, you'd love to see it. Listen, Barry, I just want you to make a case, right, for why your game is more iconic or memorable than any of the other 2 lads' games.
For me, memorable for me.
Yeah. So why is it? Why would you? Is it iconic in any way? Obviously, do you think compared to the other 2 games?
You see, if you use the word iconic, the Chelsea game that I spoke about is not an iconic game. It was a great opening game for the season and a great personal memory for me.
What game would you put down as iconic then if you were to open in the game? What would you say?
Well, I suppose if you want to talk about iconic games, to my knowledge, United have only scored 5 goals on the opening game of the season twice. And once was the season that Kojo spoke about. And I have to say that game against Fulham, I remember very well. 4 goals up after 19 minutes was a magnificent game. And then if you want to talk about iconic seasons, 1966-67, we scored 5 goals in our opening game and we went on to win the league. And of course, that team went on to win the European Cup. So these are all iconic games. Yeah. But I guess probably one of the most iconic sayings in the history of our club came from one of our dreaded opposition. As Joe mentioned, you won't win anything with kids. Well, I mean, he must, every time he sees that Alan Hansen, he must cringe. Yeah. So, we're grateful to him because he's in the folklore of the club. To talk about 99 and say that the opening game of the season, which I remember very well when, Beck's got the equalising goal against Leicester. I think that, that game itself, yes, it led on to winning the treble, but it was an iconic season. But we're talking about individual games. So on a personal note, which won't go down well with the voters, I'll still go for the game I mentioned because it will have long-lasting memories for me personally.
Yeah, no, I to be fair, the game that you mentioned, for me personally, I do think you can't really put it down as iconic, but I think it was definitely a fantastic game. In terms of beating Chelsea 4-0, obviously it sets the season up a certain way. In terms
remember
of...
the brief didn't use the word iconic.
Don't worry about the brief. I'm just asking you questions. That's all.
No, we stick to the rules.
Spot the doctor.
I know. Joe was paid off his numerous followers to vote for him. We know that.
We spoke prior to the show, and Barry's just a bit upset now because he's realised that he's lost. Anyways, Kojo, coming to you. Obviously, you've spoken about a memorable moment for yourself. Would you say that goes on iconic as well? Obviously, Barry kind of alluded to your game anyways. It's kind of giving you a leg up. Do you think it's more iconic than the one that Joe's mentioned for obviously the reasons he said?
If I'm going to be honest, I don't think it will go down as more iconic, but it's still iconic regardless, just because, I mean, if you're talking about moments that are replayed over and over in Man United history, in the Premier League years anyway, that cross from Rooney straight to Ronaldo, and then the commentator talking about, what you guys are talking about, a rift. What rift? Like, look at them, they're free flowing, all of that. That's a moment that stood out because I think everyone in the Premier League realized that this team's about to cause some trouble, cause some crud. And, I think from that moment on, that's when you knew that Ronaldo, Rooney, and all the other players behind them were just about to cause some absolute danger and kill position. And it was phenomenal for me. So that one for me is iconic. It's memorable, obviously, for me personally as well. Thank you, Joe. I am iconic. Thank you.
Joe's here in the Joe's in the video, by the way. It's Joe in the video.
Yeah, you know what? To be honest, I ain't gonna lie to you. If I don't win this one, I ain't mad because me and my boy Ronaldo won the last one, didn't it? So I ain't gonna, I ain't stressing. I ain't stressing.
Listen.
Yeah, I was there.
I'm not even gonna put a poll on this one because it seems like you've all agreed with Joe. Anyways, you kind of just backed him fully.
No, but you see, the thing is, yeah, everyone that votes, everyone that's gonna vote is not, but not everyone's gonna, not everyone that's watching this is gonna be the one that's voting. So when they go on the website, when they go on Twitter and they just see 3-1 against Villa loss, they're gonna be like, wait, hold on, a loss? Allow that, man. They're going straight for that 5-1 or the 4-0. So I can't lie, yes. Joe, yeah, he's looking a bit pig for you still, you know. You're talking about imagination. I should have used imagination like Terry Henry, innit? You know the ones there. Oh.
Oh, no, you did not just say that. That is deep. That's deep. Don't get me started that. Listen, I'm gonna flip the script here slightly.
Kojo.
I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna
sorry. Kojo, it took me a second to register what you just said there. You absolute bastard. Okay? I will remember this.
He's on about the Henry handball.
That's a swear in my country, okay?
All right. You guys.
Kojo, you don't want...
Barry, can you hear us? Can you? No? Yes, no?
Barry?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Barry.
Can you hear Usman and Joe?
I can hear you.
I would like to say to Barry, I would like to say a quick thank you to Barry and the South African national team for making a holy show with the French national side after they robbed us of a World Cup place in the 2010s. Absolute disaster.
Anyways, off topic. Anyways, coming back to what I was about to say, I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna flip the script slightly, okay? So, can this game against Crystal Palace and the opening game of the season be iconic or memorable for Man United? We'll start with you, Joe. What are your thoughts?
The only way it can be memorable is if it's a catalyst for a good season. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You tend to not have like really memorable games that lead to something because off the top of our head, the reason the Villa game is most iconic is just because we lost the game and Alan Hansen said, "You won't win anything with kids," which is once you come up, why it's the winner. When you come into the restaurant in Old Trafford, it's the first thing you see. That's why it's the most iconic game. So no matter what, just say if we win, if we beat Palace like we did a couple of years ago where we come from 2-0 down and beat them 3-2, we show a lot of spirit, something like that. That's how it can be like, oh, this team has bottled, this team can do anything. But to be honest, first games don't tend to mean anything. You know, you ideally want to win them, but you want to win them in a special way, and they don't tend to do that these days. So if we beat them by coming from 2-0 down and beating them 3-2 or absolutely hockeying them like 6-1, then maybe. Yeah. But it's hard to really know. It all depends on what the last game of the season means for us, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was kind of coming from the perspective of, do you think the season could potentially be memorable?
Obviously,
in terms of that sense. But Barry, we'll pass it to you. What are your thoughts? Do you think this potentially could be, I don't want to use the word turning point, but we'll just use the word catalyst, really. Obviously, good springboard off the Palace game, potentially a catalyst to do something this season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a must-win game from the point of view we need to hit the ground running. And, opening game of the season can go any way, but we want to set down a marker. We're watching all the teams around us improving their squads, signing on players. We're still waiting for those magical announcements, which I don't think are going to come. So with what we got, we need to set down a marker and we need to thrash Palace. And remember, we lost at home to them last season. So, we've got a score to settle with them. And it mustn't be coming from 2 goals behind and winning the game. We mustn't concede 2 goals. We must go there and thrash them on the opening day of the season and show that we mean business. That's what I'm hoping for. Iconic game. Well, it'll be an iconic game if we beat them 12-0, I guess. But I don't see it being iconic. There'll be all eyes on our new Dutch signing if he plays. There'll be eyes on, the front runners. There'll be eyes on the defense. Everybody, eyes on everyone. So they need to go out, be businesslike, do the job. But we must win the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, the most important thing is, of course, the result. And the reason I asked the question is because, for me personally, we had that sort of preparation going into Jose Mourinho's season where like shit hit the fan, so to speak, where it was an absolute disaster. Prior to the season even starting, you saw the sort of the murmurs that there was an issue in the dressing room with him, obviously Martial, Pogba, etc. And that kind of panned out within the season. I feel like going into this game against Crystal Palace, there is a lot of negativity surrounding the club at the moment. A lot of which is regarding transfers, of course, and not actually with the players themselves. But, well, I suppose in saying that, there is some with the players, with Maguire and Greenwood in particular. But for me personally, I do think this game, it's not going to be iconic or memorable, it depends on what happens in the season. But this game is very important for us in terms of going forward in the season, because there's so much dark clouds surrounding the club at the moment with the transfers, with the Maguire situation. A lot of people got to prove themselves with this game.
I think what's unusual is because of the COVID pandemic, we haven't had a pre-season because last season went on for so long. So, we've had one friendly against Villa. You can't really gauge much from that game. So we're kind of not really sure about the state of the club because the state of play is probably not much different from how it was at the end of last season. So it'll be interesting to see who his starting 11 is, and it'd be interesting to see how we approach the game. But I think we know from previous seasons we've struggled against teams when they've been defensive against us at Old Trafford. So I'm hoping that we can come up, now that we've got Bruno in the team as a playmaker, that we can come up with something where we can, get some early goals and put them on the back foot early in the game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. In terms of against teams that tend to sit back, we have struggled. Coach, just to pass it to you, mate. In terms of the game, obviously we're talking about iconic first game of the season, but just this game in terms against Palace, how important is it for us to get a positive result come Saturday?
Yeah, we need to win. It's as simple as that, really. You guys have really gone into detail about the transfers and the sort of the negativity around the club. I think if this club or the players on the pitch are able to go out there and sort of, I think a more dominant win, not a shaky one, because that'll still put fans in the place of, we see this is why we need players, all of that. I think we want to get away from that at least for a week, win this game, win it convincingly, and be able to say, look at the starting 11, it's damn good. And then that's why we need extra, but not be upset because you've gone out there and you've destroyed a team that we lost to last season at home. So it's very important that we start this with a bang. I'm hoping for a dominant win. I'm hoping for a win where we show our authority. I know Palace are improving with some of the signings they've made, but we signed Donny van de Beek, and our starting 11 last season, minus Donny van de Beek, after lockdown, was very, very good in getting big results and smashing teams. So I'm hoping for the same thing. They're fit, they look ready. So let's go out there and let's absolutely destroy Palace. That's what we need.
Absolutely destroy Palace. I love that, Coach. Listen, just to finish off, I just want to get your thoughts in terms of score prediction for this game. Hopefully, it's a memorable one like it was last season. Joe, we'll come to you first and foremost, bro. What are your thoughts regarding this game against Palace? Just in general, score prediction, etc.
Yeah, fuck it. I was going to be. Yesterday I was pessimistic, but since the world is shit at the moment, we're not buying anyone. I'm going to say 5-1.
5-1. So that would be iconic if you come with a 5-1 after all the shit that we've had this summer.
Yeah,
right.
But
what do you think? Greenwood hat-trick. What do you reckon?
I think Maguire with a header, Greenwood 1, Danny van de Beek will come on and get 1, and then Martial with 2.
Wow, I hope so, because I've got Martial and Bruno in my fantasy team.
Sorry, I'm going to change it. Martial doesn't score. Dan James.
Okay, Barry, what's the score prediction, mate, for the opener this Saturday?
I'm going 3-0 to United, 2 from Martial and Bruno to score a penalty.
That's exactly what I've gone for. That's so weird. That's well, actually, I haven't. That's a lie. I've gone 3-0 as well. Bruno, Penn, Martial, and Greenwood. Coach, what have you got just to finish off?
I'm going 5-0. I think Rashford will get back on the score sheet. Okay, I think Donny van de Beek will get 1, and I'm hoping for a Martial hat-trick.
Martial, I might have to captain Martial. Everyone's gone for Martial. I might have made a mistake here. But listen, I just want every single person to go over to the Twitter page, and when we tweet it out, all for United, I want you to let us know what your most memorable first game of the season is, or iconic, whichever way you want to say. Obviously, we will have the poll in there. I suppose this one isn't really a debate completely. It's more depending on opinions. Barry, are you happy? Are you happy, Barry? I've said that.
Well, I think all of Joe's followers weren't born when that game was played against Villa, so maybe they won't vote for him this time.
Whoa.
Jeez.
So Joe's on their account. I'm just gonna let everyone know, right? Joe is logged in for All for United. He's commented to himself and then put it on the screen. So well done,
Osman, this is blasphemy and this is slander. I am sitting here and
you've got on
spreading
you didn't lie. The person didn't lie. I wasn't denying it. I'm just saying you did it yourself, but I didn't say it. On that note, let us know on the poll, is Joe handsome? Is he not handsome? Or what do you think? As always, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Just show love on the socials. Everyone's socials are underneath. They're beautiful faces, apart from me, but it doesn't really matter. I don't care. But also, what I need to say is make sure you subscribe to the channel. As always, what is going on here? Barry, Barry, can you drink again? What's going on?
Yeah, I refuse to make the Jesse Lingard signs that these guys do. Bloody chairman and vice chairman of the Lingard fan club, Joe and Kojo.
Anyways, on that note, we'll see you in a few. Check out the preview that the boys have done as well for the game. If you want more detailed analysis and all that thoughts going to a Palace game, let us know your most memorable game. It's been your host, Osman. We'll see you in a few. Peace. Cheers. Cheers.